Last lesson for number theory. So I put down the one that is not as important in my opinion because there's some definition here. So the definition on the test would be some kind of matching. So the first two terms is natural number and also whole numbers. So anybody know what the natural number and whole number, how are they different? So I'm going to put them in a set notation. The letter we use to represent natural number is N. The letter we use to represent whole number is W. Okay? So how are the two different? This one say counting number, the second one say counting number, but also zero. So the set of number we have here starting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just what you use to count. And then because this is not a terminating set, I put comma and dot 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 to represent this will keep going. The whole number, you just need to add 0. So same sign, but this time we start with 0. 2, 4, 5. Again, it will keep going. So dot dot dot. It means it's going to keep going forever. The O here, so it comes with the 0. Like it has this O, so it has the 0. Okay, anybody know what integer is? Talk about it on exam 1. Integer has both positive and negative number. The symbol we use is I. So we will start with negative sign. So again, it's not terminating. So I'm going to put dot 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 comma. And then negative 3, negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, and then comma, dot, dot, dot on the other side, meaning both sides is supposed to keep going. So keep whole number. No decimal number, no fraction yet. So far, we okay? All right. The next one is rational number. Rational number is going to be number, can be written as a, I think it's ratio. I think I misspelled this. Ratio of two integers. So cross out the N for me, please. And we use Q to represent it. So we don't use R because R is real number. So we cannot use that. But what they mean is you can put it in some kind of ratio like 5/1 or 1/2. And it could be a fraction, 1.75. I have to stop somewhere. If I change 1.75 to a fraction, what fraction is that? 1 and 75 over 100 because two decimal places mean 20 at the bottom, right? And you told me if you reduce it, it will be 1 and 3/4. Perfect. If I change it to an improper fraction, what would that be? 7/4. So all of these can be considered as rational number as long as like you can put it in a form of a number, an integer over another integer. So it can be positive, it can be negative, but if it's a decimal, it has to stop somewhere. And we use Q to represent that. The next one is irrational number. Irrational number is going to be decimal, not a fraction, and is not going to stop anywhere. They call those non-terminating decimal numbers, such as pi is 3.14159, but it keeps going. E is natural number, which is 2.718, and then it keeps going again. Or if you use your calculator and do square root of 3 or square root of 5, they're not going to stop anywhere. So it's a non-terminating decimal number. And the letter we use to represent this is IR, irrational. And we go to real numbers. So real number, including positive and negative number, large and small numbers. Number, decimal number, all the number except the imaginary number. So, and we use R for real number. So what is imaginary number? Imaginary number come with I, and I come from square root of -1. So that's imaginary. That is related to complex number. Complex, we use C to represent. It's in the form of A plus BI. So it could be 7 plus 2I 5 plus 0i or 0 minus 5i. And because we have been doing the Venn diagram, so we can say we started with natural number and the whole number include all the natural number plus 0. And then we have integer is including natural number and whole number. And then we have the rational number is including all of them. Rational number is cube, sorry. And then we have the real number, it included all of them. But the irrational is just like in a little category. And then finally, we will include complex number, which also include the imaginary number. So on the test, the question may look something like they want you to match which one describe the exact term. If I have the smallest one is the natural number and whole number and then integer, and then we have the rational, real number. Irrational is just into a little category, complex number and imaginary number. Okay. If on the test I give you a set of numbers such as this one and ask you what does it describe, this describe what? Natural number. If that's natural number with a 0, then you match it with whole number. If you see positive and negative whole number, that would be all integers or something like that. Okay, so it would be a matching kind of view. All right, let's look at the back. There are 3 different ways to represent sets. So the first one is words and list and the set builder notation. So this set they want a set of positive number that are multiple of 2. So a lot of time they will assign a letter as the name of a set. So I am going to say, they actually tell you this call is set A. So I'm going to say A is, they kind of describe it to you here, right? A set of that positive number, right? And then they are multiple of 2. So any number multiple of 2 are what kind of number? Even number. A set of positive even. Are we okay? All right. The second one is listing them. So again, they call this A, right? So this is the name they assign the set. It's usually a letter and they write it in capital letter. We're going to need to list them. So because it's positive and it's even, right? The first number should start with what? 2, okay. And then 4, 6, 8, 10. Is it going to stop anywhere? No. So I'm going to do what? Comma and then dot, dot, dot. Are we okay? And close it. So that's how you write as a list. The last one is the most weird one for students, but it's the technical way to write it. Set builder notation is A equal to. So they start with a squiggly brackets with an X and a bar here. Equal to 2 times a number because it's an even number, right? And both X and Y is part of the natural number. So this is a very mathematical way to write it. If I ever put it on the test, it would be for extra credit, okay? But this describes as X, the bar means such that X equal to 2 times Y, and both X and Y are natural number, okay? So we're gonna use that to try to figure out the second one. So how do I describe in word number 2? Say, name the set as B, represent a set of positive odd number. So B is, what should I write here? A set of positive odd number. How do I list them? Start with B equal to squiggly brackets. First number is 1, 3, 7, 9, comma, dot, 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 squiggly bracket. Okay, now it's testing you. We should start a builder notation with what? B equal to squiggly brackets x a bar. Okay, this is the hard part. If we started with this and try to modify it, can we do it? So this one is 2 times 1 is 2, right? 2 times 2 is 4, 2 times 3 is 6, like that. So basing on that, if I do 2 times 1, how can I change it back to a 1? So if we have, the first one is even number, right? So x equal to 2 times y, so it's like 2 times 1 is 2, 2 times 2 is 4, 2 times 3 is 6, like that, right? So this time I need to build on that. How can I turn the 2 to 1? Because my answer needs to be 1. 2 to 1 will be 1. Minus 1. Okay, so it's like 2 times 1 minus 1 will be 1, right? How about 2 times 2? If it's minus 1, would that be 3? 4 minus 1 is 3. How about 2 times 3? Minus 1. This is 6 minus 1 is 5. So that's how they build that one. They said this is going to be x equal to 2y minus 1, and then both x and y are going to be natural. The next part will be on example. We need to be able to describe this in words. Remember, we have the different symbol, including this one, and comma, bar, and a C. So what do we call those? Union for the first one. Second one would be intersect. The last one would be start with a C. Complement. Okay, what's the key word for union? Anybody remember? Or how about intersect? And the complement? Not. Good job. Okay, we're gonna need to use those words to write them out. Okay, so they said use A to represent people who like to eat fast food. B would be people like to sleep. C would be people who work out. Okay, and we have to assign those keyword with those. The keyword for first one is what? This one is or. Second one, and the last one here, but in between we have or. Okay, so I want you to write as straightforward as you can, and then you will get all the credits. Okay, A is what? People like to eat fast food, right? So I'm going to say people fast food. The keyword is what? Or people like to sleep. I know it doesn't make much difference for you, but if it's like in a Venn diagram, this is the fast food. It means like both circle, right? Anybody in this circle or in this circle would be part of the answer for one, right? Something like that, because it's or. 2. How should I describe that? This one would be people fast food. I can say and sleep because it's pretty much the same thing, right? If I look at the graph, it would be which part of the graph? The overlapping part here, right? That would be for the second part. Last part. B is people like to sleep. The keyword is or. Not what is not C. People do not work out, right? So if they have C, I need 3 circles, but I'm not going to draw it. They didn't ask you to draw it. They just asked you to write out. So make sure you know the keywords and just list them out. That's all. Are we okay with something like that? It will be on the test. Okay. All right. That's 2 word problem here. So I want to do 2 more because it's going to be on the exam, and basing on the last 2 exams, you guys are not very good with the word problem toward the end. they come back on the final. So make sure you review them and study, okay? So the way you study for the final is pull out the 3 graded exam. If you didn't do well, you can either ask me to print you out like a blank one to practice, or just get a blank piece of paper and write that out. If you have a friend score really high, you may want to ask them, can I take some picture of your exam? But make sure you can do every single question on those 3 exams, then you should be in good shape. So when I create my exam, I'm going to open all 3 exams and dump it in one file. It will be too long, right? So I'm going to get rid of some of the questions, but the one I use, I'm going to just change the number. So if you can do every single question on the 3 graded exam, you should be in pretty good shape, okay? And then the one that people miss a lot, that's the one probably will come back on the final. Final exam is 2 hours, and your final exam supposed to be scheduled on the Wednesday of the final exam week. It's supposed to start at 10:30 to 12:30, but because some of you don't come here until 11 something, right? And I don't have any plan that afternoon, so if you want to, like, if some of you have to start 11 or 11:15, that's going to be okay. I will make sure you have at least 2 hours, because the exam's supposed to be 2 hours. Any question? I don't think anybody is in this room until 1 o'clock. So, and if it's just a few of you left, then I can take you to some other location probably. But the official time for the final exam for this class is supposed to be that Wednesday from 10:30 to 12:30. So if some of you are already here 10:30, I would encourage you to get started so you can be done and go eat lunch or something. But if you cannot be here until 11:15, then you have 12:15 and 1:15, okay? All right, questions? All right. So here, let's see. First one. Journalism class polled 150 people and found 35 with the Dallas News, 14 people with both Dallas News and Greenville News, and 75 with neither. I think it's how many, sorry. I made this like yesterday, so I make some correction. I just want to save some time, otherwise you guys keep copying a lot of stuff. The Greenville News only. So they asked us to use a Venn diagram to solve, so we have to create a Venn diagram. Okay, what can I put on the Venn diagram? You're going to need a piece of paper to do it. So Venn diagram, this usually have a box to represent the universal sets. And then how many categories do we have here? 3. What are the 3? How many circles do I need? 2 circles. Are they overlapping? Okay, so 1 circle represents what? People with the Dallas News. The other circle would be Greenville News. Okay, what is the universal set? How many people are in there? Okay, they polled how many? 150 people, which means the universal set have 150 people, right? Okay, so now we're going to need to write down the step and try to finish this. What do we know? What can I put down?
You put 35 on the Dallas News.
On where?
On the Dallas News.
Here?
Yeah.
That's not right. 35 include what?
All the ones that include the ones.
Yeah, so 35 is the whole circle of Dallas News, right? So 35 people with the Dallas News, so this whole circle represents 35, which includes just Dallas News and then they with Dallas News and the Greenville News. So 35 should be where? Okay, what can I put down? Like, can I put down 35? Let's try something else. What do you know for sure? 14 go where? In the middle, because 14 say what? They with both, right? So number 1 say 14 with both, meaning they go to the overlapping part, right? With the 2 circles, right? So I'm going to put 14 down here. Everybody okay with this part? That's the first step. So sometimes student may stuck somewhere, but whatever you know, put it down so I can give you some credit, right? What else do I know? 75 we need us, so go where? Outside, right? So 75 here, but I have to write down the steps. So number 2, we're going to say 75 read neither. So outside of the 2 circle. What else do I know? Somehow need to use that 35 now. Subtract. So 35 is actually on this circle, right? This whole circle should be 35. And then you know part of it is 14. So can you figure out the other parts? Yes. So if I need to figure out who read Dallas News only, and we do what? Use the total for Dallas News, 35, subtracting the overlapping part, which is 14 equal to 21 is the number with Dallas News only, right? Are we okay? So you're going to need to be able to figure that out on your own. So now I don't have 35 here anymore because 35 minus my 14 is going to be 21 here. Okay, so the whole thing, I only have one blank spot, right? So I need to figure that part out. How? This is the part for reading Greenbow paper only, right? So how do I figure that out? Add what up? 21 plus 14 plus, and then what? Subtract by 150. So can I just subtract 150, subtract the rest? So which means 150, subtract the 21, subtract 14, subtract 75. Or you can subtract 35 and 75. What is that number? Nobody get it? 40. Okay. So 40. And what are they asking from that question? How many? What?
Read the Greenbow paper only.
And what's the answer?
40.
40. So the answer would be 40 with Greenbow News only. Are we okay? So don't forget to answer the question too at the end. So that seems to be one of the problem on the test. Okay, question for this. So it's going to need some practice. It's like a puzzle. You just use all the clue and try to like find the answer from there. Are we okay? We have a music club with 15 members. 7 of them play piano, 6 play guitar, 4 don't play anything. How many people play both? Okay, so how do I set up the Venn diagram first of all? First I draw what? A rectangular box, okay? And then inside we have the circle. What do we label the circle? The universal have 15 people, okay? And what is that about?
15 music.
What is this box about? Music club with 15 circle. One is about playing piano, Piano. The other one? Guitar, Guitar. I'm really tired. Okay, just spelling for myself. Okay, so what can I put down? What do we know? Okay, what do we put 7? Here? 7 is belong to where? The whole circle, so I cannot put it here. Okay, the whole circle has 7, not just that part, okay? So 7 belong to this whole circle. And then what else do I know? So where does 4 go? Outside. Okay, so I'm going to say number 1 is side of the 2 circle because play neither, right? Okay, so you have to write down the explanation, okay, on the test. Okay, we got that part. What else do we know? Not a whole lot.
6 people. And the whole circle?
The whole circle. Thank you. Okay, so somehow using that, I need to figure it out. But how? So this is a little bit different from the last example. So this one is harder. Right now we have 7, 6, and 4 together is what? That seems to be a problem.
2 Two of them play both.
How did you figure that out?
Because 7 plus 6 plus 4 plus 7
Mhm.
minus 15.
Good. So like if we add this circle and add this circle and add this, it's over 15 people, right? So it means some of them should be overlapping and we are overcounting them. So we are trying to figure that part out. So we're gonna say number 2, we can figure out the overlapping part by using 7 plus 6 plus 4, which is 17, right? Okay, is more than 15, right? So the overlapping part would be the 17 subtract the total, supposed to be just 15, and you have 2 overlapping, right? So you put 2 here. So if I know this is 2, then just piano is going to be what? You do that?
7 minus
7 need to subtract 2 equal to 5, so 5 is just piano. Together is still 7, right? Is it okay?
Mhm.
And then how about just guitar?
4. 6 minus 2.
You have 6 in the whole circle, subtract the overlap 2 equal to 4 just guitar. Are we okay? What are they asking? So the answer is 2 people or 2 members play both instruments, right? So it's kind of like a puzzle. You have to just like practice it a little bit. It's problem solving. Let's wrap back up with the original one. Okay, question.